Hey everybody, it's low carb and keto nutrition specialist Amy Berger, and I help people do keto without the crazy. This video is kind of a part two or a follow-up to my previous video that was titled When Diet is Not Your Top Priority. I realized there was something kind of important that I left off the previous video, and I was tempted to just re-record the whole thing, but I was like, oh, do you really want to start that from the beginning and do it all over again? And I said to myself, no, I do not. I'll just tack on a little addendum. So here we are. If you haven't watched that video, go watch that first. And it's kind of a bummer that I decided to do a part two because in previous videos, when I forgot something, as I sometimes do, and it's something important enough that I want to put it out there, and I do a part two and sometimes even a part three, the parts 2 and 3 get a mere fraction of the views that the first part gets. So clearly people run out of steam for certain topics, or they, I don't know, pass through the channel. But for those of you that are genuine fans and that watch everything, here we are. So thanks for watching. So the previous video was really about prioritizing things in your life, and that sometimes diet is not your top priority, and that's okay. Sometimes there are other things going on in your life that have to take precedence over nailing keto perfectly and doing every single thing right with your food. And I made the point to say that getting the diet right, I hate that phrase, but let's say doing well with your diet, eating foods that work well for you and that are suited for you, can help you navigate the other things better, right? If you are eating well and so you're not bloated all the time and you don't feel full and heavy all the time, and you don't have brain fog because your blood sugar is wonky, and you don't have heartburn, and things are, going well physically, you can be that much better equipped to deal with life's vicissitudes, right? With the stresses that come your way, with the crises that come up, with unpredictable things. You may even sleep better. Certainly we consider sleep a really important aspect of overall well-being and health. Some people can't fall asleep or you wake up in the middle of the night because your blood sugar's tanking, or just all kinds of stuff. Anyway, the point is that doing really well with your diet can give you the physical and mental and emotional strength and stamina, or equanimity, to deal with all the other stuff of life. What I didn't really mention in the previous video that I think is important enough to do this follow-up is that it works the other way too. I'll post a link to a video down on the notes that I did a while back that I think it was called What If You Can't Stick to Keto? And because some people find it really hard to stick to, and it is for some people. For some people, they give up the bread, the pasta, the rice, they never look back. For other people, it's a constant struggle. So it just depends on where you are. But what I wanted to say is that if you are having trouble sticking to keto, maybe it's because there are other things in your life that are weighing down on you and you're not able to prioritize diet. And we'll break that down a little further, but I want to point out that, yeah, if your sleep is a mess, if you are tired all the time and you're dragging and you're upset and you can't even think straight because you're so tired, are you really going to prefer a nice piece of grilled salmon and some roasted broccoli? Is that what you're going to crave? Or are you going to want some chocolate chip cookies? Are you going to want a big bowl of spaghetti? So, and if you're stressed out, if you've got a million things to do and you hate your job and you have a really stressful commute and everything's crazy and you get home and the kids are screaming and the dog is barking and the husband left the socks on the floor, or whatever it is. And I know that's a total stereotype, so I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend anyone, but you're on edge. And you are just so looking forward to the moment when the house is quiet and you can just sit on the couch with your cake, or you can just sit in your recliner with your bag of chips, or that sleeve of cookies, whatever it may be. That might be your one little oasis of sanity and peace in an otherwise day of upheaval. So if you can manage some of that other stuff, delegate to the extent you can, calm things down, clear your plate, no pun intended, have that calm down, or prioritize your sleep, or wherever the weakest link is, whatever thing is really causing the most havoc. The more you can address about that, the better able you might be able to do the diet, right? In the last video I said doing the diet well can help you handle life, but handling life better might make it easier for you to stick to keto. If you are calm and things aren't insane, then it's not so bad to go without that bowl of pasta or that pint of ice cream. So, it works both ways. And two things I'll say. The first is I've had clients in the past where, and it's not super common, but it's happened more than once, where I have to politely, converse with them and say, this really isn't a dietary problem. When I look at their food list or their journal and what's going on, I'm like, you eat better than I do. Like, your diet is on point. There's something else here. And it's either, just as examples, an unhappy marriage, a mom or a dad who needs a night off, who needs a babysitter so they can go away or sit in the bathtub or do whatever other thing is going to relax them. Could be any number of somebody who just can't stand their job. I've definitely been in that situation, like just years of a job that was unfulfilling. I mean, that's a major stressor. That's a big weight on somebody's shoulders. So, if your health is not where you want it to be, including your weight, your physique's, size and shape, consider the possibility that it's not always diet. It's not always what you're eating. And as a matter of fact, you all know I have a book out called The Stall Slayer that's about breaking fat loss stalls on keto. Diet is not the whole book. Diet is a substantial portion of it, but there's a whole chapter on stress and sleep. There's a whole chapter on, there's one on exercise, which too much exercise is a thing. There is such a thing as too much exercise, and it can really do a number on your physical and mental emotional health. But we certainly don't ignore those lifestyle factors in here, really, and it's important for me to bring that up with a client when I identify that as a potential factor, because I'm not qualified to help them with that. I'm a nutritionist. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a therapist. So all I can really do is bring their attention to the possibility that they need another kind of help. Their diet is actually great, and something else is standing in the way of where they're trying to get health-wise or weight-wise. And it's difficult for people to hear that, because it's easier to change your diet than it is to get a divorce, or than it is to find a new job, or move to a new town, or try to hire a babysitter once a week, or whatever would help that person. It's a lot easier to just change what you put in your mouth. But the second thing I wanted to talk about, and let me just take a little sip of my beverage. You all know I'm a giant Superman junkie. This is not coffee. Like in the previous video, this is not my coffee, but just grab yourself a beverage. We'll talk. No big whoop. And if that's not funny to you, watch the previous video and it will be. So, talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. The ketogenic diet is neither ketogenic nor a diet. Discuss. And if that's not funny, again, watch the previous video. It will be funny, at least if you knew anything about Saturday Night Live in like the mid-90s. All right, moving on. Second thing, I wanted to talk about the concept of triage. If you work in a hospital, or if you've been in the military, I'm an Air Force veteran, you're like on a battlefield hospital, not that that was my job in the military, but in an emergency room, you do triage. You have a limited number of beds, a limited amount of personnel. You can't treat everybody all at once. You have to prioritize who's the most critical, whose situation is the most dangerous or the most life-threatening, and or whose situation could we have the biggest impact on the most quickly. And whatever that is, that's the first priority. And then you work down the list until you get to the stuff that's not that important. And as a funny example, a long time ago, I injured one of my fingers very badly. And I ended up having to go to the ER to get an x-ray, because my doctor's office didn't have an x-ray machine, and they said, just go to the ER. Now, I lived in New York City at the time. Yeah, only Staten Island, but technically part of New York City. It's one of the 5 boroughs. So do you think that the girl with a potentially broken finger sitting in the emergency room of a New York City hospital is going to take the priority? Probably not. There's probably something coming in. On Staten Island, maybe not a gunshot wound, but maybe somebody in the middle of a heart attack, maybe someone who just had a stroke. Who knows? The point is, my little potential finger injury, not the priority. So how does this relate to keto? Maybe there's something else happening in your life that diet is on the back burner, and that's okay. It is okay. And I think I made the point in the previous video, so if I'm repeating myself, forgive me, but I think I made the point that there's really no excuse not for being on point with your diet, because even if life is crazy, what's difficult about keto? Like, my whole thing, my whole shtick, I'm not afraid to call it a shtick. I'm from New York. We got my whole thing is keeping this simple. And so if you're not obsessed and worried about hitting all those macros and filling out your spreadsheet and logging the app, and is this grass-fed and was it pastured and does that have canola oil? If you would just take a breath and calm down a little bit and prioritize the number one principle of a low-carb or ketogenic diet, which is keeping your carb intake low. Everything else is secondary. So to the extent that you can just do that, you're kind of most of the way there. And if life is stressful and you don't have time to cook, I don't know what's going on outside the US, but in the US, there's rotisserie chicken that you can just go to the supermarket for like $4.99 when it's on sale, maybe $6 or $7.99 on a regular day. You get a fully cooked chicken. Yes, it might have some dextrose solution in it. It might have some stuff in it. Not the end of the world. You can go to the deli counter and get a pound of roast beef. You can get a can of salmon. You can go to the McDonald's drive-thru and get some burger patties. I mean, there's always an option, and a relatively easy and simple and inexpensive option to stick to keto no matter what life is throwing at you. That being said, if you're not able to for whatever reason, that's okay. Do the best you can. And if that means, again, I don't remember what I said in the first video, because the truth is I actually already recorded part 2. This is version 2 of part 2, because I borrowed my friend's fancy microphone, and I don't know if I accidentally hit the wrong button and changed the settings. The sound was terrible. I'm like, I could put this on my channel, but my viewers and listeners really deserve better. So this is take 2. So I don't remember what I said in the first video versus the first version of this video. So I hate to, tell you things that you've already heard, but that's nothing new from me anyway, right? I mean, even if you are off plan for a little while, that's okay. Get back on plan as soon. Stay as close to the plan as you can. Even if you're off it, you don't have to be a mile away. You could be 10 feet away, right? And because it's easier to lose 5 or 10 pounds that you've regained than it is to lose 50 or 100 that you've regained, right? It's easier to put your type 2 diabetes into remission again when your A1C is 6.7 than when it's 10.2. So if for whatever reason you are straying and you're not able to stick to keto because life is nuts, do the best you can and get back to being a little stricter as soon as you can. But again, I just want to emphasize how it works both ways. Being diligent with your diet and being in better health physically and emotionally and cognitively can only be of benefit in dealing with all the craziness of life. But dealing with the craziness of life and having it be less crazy can help you adhere to the diet better. So it's all a nice little circle, cycle, whatever you want to call it. And I guess that's it. I will remind you, I have a new book coming out. Release date in the US is December 15th. It's called End Your Carb Confusion, co-written with Dr. Eric Westman. It's available for pre-order on Amazon right now. I believe it's also available in Canada, the UK, possibly Australia. I'm not sure where else because we don't have foreign language translations of this yet. I'm hoping that will come in the future, but right now it's just this. There's not even a Kindle version yet. I think one will be coming soon. I'll have to check with our publisher, but check out that book. And let's see, I am publishing this on Wednesday, November 18th, and I helped a company called Adapt Your Life put together something called the Keto Made Simple Masterclass. Now, Dr. Westman is a co-founder of the Adapt Your Life company, and so who better to teach people the simple way to do keto than him? With his page 4 plan, he can literally teach you to do keto on one side of one sheet of paper. Here's the food list. Have a nice day. So if you are totally overwhelmed and you like the message of keto without the crazy, if you're new to keto, Keto Made Simple Masterclass is perfect for you. If you've been doing it for a while and you're either not getting the results you want, or even though you've been doing it for a while, you still don't know what sense to make of all the different conflicting information, do check out the Keto Made Simple Masterclass, link below in the notes. Make sure you get on that quickly because the door is closing, I think, on Friday the 20th. Enrollment is only open for a short time. Once you enroll, you'll have access. It's a video course. It's an online course. There's video modules with Dr. Westman. There's a lot of additional resources. There's PDF handouts. There's a little recipe booklet. There's a guidebook that includes the food list and kind of walks you through how to do the diet, a little bit of FAQ, some support. I may have contributed to writing that little booklet and also to developing some of the course content. So I'm confident that course will be helpful to many of you. But again, enrollment is only open for a few more days. Once you enroll, the course is self-paced. You can go through the videos as quickly or as slowly as you want. You get 3 weeks of support in a masterclass student-only Facebook group. I don't love Facebook, but a lot of other people do. Or if you don't love it, it's still, love it or hate it, it's still a good way for people to communicate and get together with like-minded people. And Dr. Westman will be popping into that group himself, answering questions. I will probably be popping in and answering questions. There's going to be a live Q&A video with Dr. Westman once a week, and other people from the Adapt Your Life team who know about keto will be popping in to answer and give you support. And so that's it. But act now, because it's not going to be available after this. It's going to be offered again in 2021 every so often. It might be every quarter, every 6 weeks. We're not sure yet. But it's never going to be at the price it is now. And I'm going to tell you, the booklet alone, the little booklet that I wrote, is worth the price of the masterclass. I have paid far more money than this masterclass is being charged. I've paid way more than that and received way less, meaning a 1-hour video, a one little thing. With the masterclass, you're getting a ton of stuff. It is an absolute steal. It's a steal. That's all I can say. Just check it out. If you're interested, check it out. If you're not. But if you want to do it and you want to do it now and you want to do it at the lowest cost it's ever going to be available, act now. Again, there'll be a link. Thanks for watching. And check out that video too on the what if you can't stick to keto. I think that's been very helpful for a lot of people too. You know, keto, you just have to do the best you can, just like anything else in life. And if you fall a little bit short, keto is so powerful that if you aim for here and you kind of get here, you're probably still going to reap a lot of the benefits because you were here. You were like way over here. Keto's here. Look how far you've come. Maybe going that extra little bit would be even better, but if you can't, holy moly, you're still way better off than being there. That's it. I'm shutting up. Thanks for watching, and I will try to be less forgetful in the future and just do one video.